Senators, I rise today to speak to Bill S-214, an act to establish International Mother Language Day. International Mother Language Day is not a legal holiday, nor a non-judicial day. Honorable Senator,
Honorable Senators, I would like to begin by pointing out that this bill is important, and not only for multilingual people.
Important way we can strengthen Canada's core values of inclusion, openness, equity, and respect for all people and their identity. I strongly believe in these values, and that is why I'm so incredibly passionate about the Mother Language Bill, which will legislatively enshrine February 21st International Mother Language Day across all of Canada's provinces and territories, as have the UN and many other countries around the world done. Célébrer les langues maternelles.
I really care about celebrating mother tongues for my entire life. Languages have been at the heart of my own identity and of the collective identity of my family here in Canada.
Well, I was raised to be proud of Kutchi. It was my identity, and I spoke Kutchi. Now, as a practicing Ismaili woman of African and South Asian descent, who was born in Uganda, studied in England as well as Canada, and now calls Vancouver home, speaking Kutchi remains part of my Canadian reality and identity. As a mother and grandmother, I carry forth the fight for recognition of all mother languages. Je me bats plus
More specifically, I'm fighting for all young people who are passionate about their mother tongue and who are proud of their mother tongue too.
All young people, including my own grandchildren and great-grandchildren to come, know that their mother tongue is what identifies who they are. My own son learned our mother tongue and had several job applications because he spoke Kutchi. When I speak to young Canadians, I feel empowered to continue my fight for the recognition, appreciation, and celebration of all mother languages spoken across Canada. Every day, my grandson Ayan inspires and reminds me to keep up this fight, and I would like to share with you what he submitted to the Standing Senate Committee on Social Affairs and Science and Technology about why the former bill, and I mean this bill now as well, is so important to him. And I quote, "My name is Ayan Jaraj, and I'm a 9th grade student at Prince of Wales School in Vancouver, BC. This mother language bill is very important to me, as both my sister and I are encouraged by our parents and grandparents to speak our mother tongue. And I feel the strength of my connection to my family and friends and my country when I can speak in Kutchi. This bill ensures all people of all ages will be able to speak their mother language. Both my sister and I speak English and French, and just as much we want to make sure we can also speak Kutchi. By officially recognizing this day," close quotations. Senators, by officially recognizing this day, February 21st, we are expanding awareness of one another and the way Canada and all the people in our country think. And that is, what is our identity? I was moved to hear another young person's story, Anusha Nag. Many of you will know her as staff member with Senator Dalphon. When she heard about this bill, she reached out to me and told me why it meant so much to her to speak her mother tongue and how important this bill was to her. And I quote, "I am a child of immigrants from Bangladesh and a Bangladeshi immigrant myself, but my mother language is not Bengali. The first language I learned to speak was Sylheti. It did not take long before I lost the ability to properly communicate in Bengali, but Sylheti I retain as the principal means of communication with and connection to my parents, whom I cherish dearly. It is difficult for me to limit my identity to one language only. Even when I'm asked to form or confirm my preferred language with my partner at home, I speak English. With my brother, I speak French. Most dearly, with my parents, I speak Sylheti. I identify with all three of these languages, and each for very different reasons. Close quotations. Anusha's words should remind us that mother languages are part of our identity. Malheureusement, nous continuons de voir la...
Unfortunately, we continue to see how much suffering there is in Canada and around the world because of the repercussions of the pandemic, which we all have to deal with. Despite our differences, I believe it is essential that we continue to love each other and to understand each other.
A woman who fled my home to come to Canada, every day I wake up proud to be part of this great country. However, I know that this gratitude cannot overshadow my awareness of the issues which racialized and particularly Indigenous people face on a daily basis. Throughout the pandemic, we have seen the centering of Indigenous voices, ideas, and perspectives in our collective Canadian society. Recent nationwide protests and marches for justice stand to remind us exactly why it is so important that all Indigenous people feel accepted when they speak in their mother tongues to their friends, extended families, communities, and most of all, when they are speaking truth to power. For good reason, many of our traditional celebrations of Canada will never be the same. We are reckoning with our past so as to pave the way for a brighter present and better future. A huge part of this journey is about taking steps which embody truth and reconciliation. I believe this bill is a small but important step on this journey. Currently, there is no legislation which explicitly protects or promotes any native languages, apart from our official ones, English and French. Without any bill explicitly recognizing and celebrating the mother languages of all cultures and heritage, there is no real protection of any traditional language. As I speak, over 60 and as many as 70 unique Indigenous languages are spoken across Canada. Tragically, many Indigenous languages have disappeared. Every time a language disappears, a part of our Canadian identity disappears with it. Despite the laudable efforts of the government with Bill C-91, an act respecting Indigenous languages of the registered Indigenous languages, only 4 are considered safe from extinction. Honorable Senators, I repeat, only 4. My province of British Columbia is home to more than half of all Indigenous languages. Sadly, only 1 in 20 Indigenous people in my province are fluent in their language, and almost all of them are elders. Many of these languages date back thousands of years, but today we Canadians have allowed them to teeter on the verge of extinction. As we all continue to work towards the reconciliation in Canada, a mother language bill is the real way for the federal government to honor and uphold its long-standing commitment to building a strong nation-to-nation relationship with Indigenous, namely First Nations, Inuit, Métis, and non-status peoples. A mother language bill ensures Canada openly acknowledges the contributions of all Indigenous languages spoken across the country and traditional territories and the role each one plays in allowing indigenous people to freely speak in the language they were gifted at birth. Honorable Senator Oku.
Honorable Senators, over the last year and a half, I really felt the strength of the connections which bind me to my family, to my friends, and to my country when I spoke to them in my mother tongue.
Languages allow us to build new and unique relationships and promote the sharing of untold stories, tales of spirituality, compassion, and humanity. Particularly as we begin to see the light at the end of the tunnel of pain caused by the pandemic, it is really uplifting to be able to speak in my mother tongue on Zoom every Saturday morning to my extended family who are around the world. Those conversations mean the world to me, and I wish nothing more than for every single person in Canada to feel free to not just speak, but to be proud of their mother tongue. C'est pourquoi je reviens.
And that's why I'm raising this topic again today. I just want you to understand that I will keep at it until this bill is passed.
Honorable Senators, I had a very long speech, which I, for 5 years, have been making. This time, as you can see, my speech is much shorter. But I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge my friend, Senator Salma Atulajan. For the 5th time, Senator Atulajan, we both will be making the same speeches. But I hope that this time, Senators, you will support us on this bill. Thank you very much, Senators.